Hey everybody, it's Chris Friendly. Thought I'd tune in here and share some records. I think I touched on this a little bit in a previous video. We really had, I think we all know the history of punk. We had the late 70s and then the whole 80s with the UK 82, Oi, stuff going on in America. And then I think in the 90s is when those two scenes kind of came together. And you kind of had some of the real early street punk bands. I think, were obviously, the Casualties, Blank 77, Violent Society, over here in my area, in my neck of the woods over here in Philly, around Philly. And the Unseen up in Boston, they were pretty early too. But I just wanted to touch on a couple bands in the 90s. And for instance, Oxymoron out of Germany. This one was on Knockout Records. I think this was their second album. This is a collection of the Unseen singles. I have, of course, you had Lower Class Crucifixion. So this is Freedom. Is that would be my favorite album by these guys. Then you have the Havoc. This was on Punk Core. And the Virus or Charged. Two albums that came out in early 2000s, 2001. But a lot of other bands around that time were Street Brats, Lower Class Brats, Endless Struggle. Because of course, Lower Class Brats you had from Texas, Street Brats Chicago, Endless Struggle was Utah, Salt Lake City. You had some stuff from Holland with Antidote. Of course, Oxymoron was Germany. You had Funeral Dress coming out of Belgium. You had guys like the Rotten Boys out of Italy. And then a little later on, you had the Wednesday Night Heroes, which were from Western Canada. The singer of these guys, I think his name's Graham. He went on to be in Homefront, which is kind of, I don't really know what you call Homefront. Kind of like that post-punk, post-oi, kind of like different instruments, like a little synth, I guess you would call it. Good stuff, though. Definitely good shit. I wanted to touch on these guys. Zex. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Another group from Canada, but these are over here by more towards the east side of Canada. But these guys, guys and girls, they were not that long ago, 5-10 years ago, I guess. I don't know if they're still active. Something happened with one of the members. I don't really want to get into that. That's neither here nor there. But these guys are just amazing, really super underrated group. I know they released some singles on Violated Records, which is Pat Society from Violent Society is part of that. Violated Records over here, kind of outside, kind of in Philadelphia. No Front Teeth put out a single. I know this one was done with Common People and a bunch of other people. But I wanted to get into, if you're into that kind of stuff, the stuff coming today, you got stuff like these, Dogface Bastards, the Rotten Stitches from Charged Records. Who Killed Spiky Jacket, 10-inch, along with Moose Knuckle. Both of these are on, both of these guys are from Boston. These are both Joe Pogo. Like I said, all this stuff that I'm mentioning here, it's all kind of like all that street punk, 90s style street punk, charged, hardcore punk, spiky hair, whatever you want to call it. Moose Knuckles, these guys were really cool. They played in Trenton at a club we had. And they were out hanging out, drinking and stuff. Not too many people showed up. The promoter didn't really get the show out there. And but these guys, they ended up calling me over. And I had a beer with them and stuff. They were out there. They were on tour with Decon from California, and these guys, Unwanted Noise, these guys are from Montreal, Canada. This is on Pills Records, Dismantled, and I think Truck Stop Records. Yeah, Truck Stop Records. Another record from Dismantled, Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad from Pills and Dismantled. Sorry about that. Yeah, Broken Cups. Now, Broken Cups, this is another record. This was released a couple different labels put together for this. Dismantled, I think Sunny Bastards, Laketown Records. Now, Broken Cups too have something coming out on Joe Pogo, I'm pretty sure. I think it's 7-inch. I think it's a re-release of something that was never released on vinyl. Another Joe Pogo release is Pogo Attack. Real, like, spiky hair, Pogo type punk, if the name didn't give it away, on Joe Pogo. Joe Pogo's got a lot of really cool releases just recently, like the ones I just shared, and a bunch more, and they have a couple more things coming up, including a group called Revolt. There's a bunch of groups who've used the name Revolt before, but I just wanted to mention them because they had a 7-inch with Moose Knuckle, who I just mentioned. Revolt, Moose Knuckle, Split 7, and now Revolt is going to be releasing, I'm not sure if it's a full length, but they're releasing something on Joe Pogo. I'm leaning towards the full length, but I'm not sure, but go check it out. LA's Mortal Decay on Motorpunk Records, real cool. Like I said, all this stuff is all in the kind of same boat. But I wanted to touch on a couple other things that are a little outside the box. Ancient Rage. Now these guys, this is Phil from Monster Squad. These guys, I know a lot of people like to use like the whole, when they describe this kind of stuff, it's like, it's a metal punk, whenever you start getting into that territory, like metal punk mix, you get into that, like, Motorhead references and, whiskey and all that kind of stuff. But this is a fucking really cool album. I'm not the biggest metalhead. There is some stuff I like, but this is just, it takes all the best parts of punk, it takes the best parts of metal, and it's just really good songs, real high energy, sing along, tapping your toe, nodding your head. Another record I wanted to mention on Autism Records, because Autism is run by a really cool gal. She's awesome. I've never really met her in person, but she's always responded whenever I reach out to her. She's a parent of a child on the autism spectrum, so she uses the name Autism as a reference. Check them out on Instagram. And one of her releases, she has a lot of cool releases, or Autism has a lot of cool releases, but Usual Suspects album. Now, they have the same album, but a different vinyl, a different cover, special edition cover. This is, it's a Oi, Skin Oi album, but just real high energy, real definitely a lot of punk influence. Check it out. And I just wanted to throw some 7-inches real quick. Just some random stuff. Statistics. This is a re-release. I think this guy's from Boston. It's a 1996 demo that just came out not that long ago. Still Pissed. And if you haven't heard, these are the guys that were involved in that whole Aaron Nickwell debacle. But this is a great album, and great EP, whatever you want to call it. Really good, freaking street punk album. And also involved, not really involved in that whole thing, was the Dogface Bastards, who I already mentioned their full length. This was 7-inch EP that came out before that. And this is an album, if you can find this, these guys are from Australia. Thatcher Snatch. I guess, you know, Margaret Thatcher reference. You know, she wasn't the most popular of ladies over in Great Britain and the rest of the world at the time she was in office. And this is just a fucking killer album. A killer EP, whatever you want to call it. It was hard for me to find a copy. When I did find it, I ended up, you know, not having to, you know, pay too much for it. If you can find it, grab a copy. You know, and I can't tell you how much you should, you know, dish out for it. Depends on how much you want something, but it's definitely worth your dollar. A cool album. Hopefully, I think they have one other 7-inch. If I come across it, I'm definitely going to try to grab it. And then I just wanted to mention some stuff from the, some random stuff, 7 inches, from the 90s. Got Fourth Class. The Hysterics. This is a cool album. This is on Tribal War, which is, that label was mainly known more for like the whole crust type, political type punk. I believe the first Casualties full length was on. Other than that, they're known for releasing like Oxymoron, Mankind, stuff like that. Global Chaos, the band, the Schizmatics, This Sucks. I can't recall. I'm pretty sure these guys were more like kind of. I can't remember if these guys were from Philly or Connecticut. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. A couple other groups. You had Rizzo Machine, was from the 90s, Philadelphia. And a group that was a little bit later, about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Combat Crisis. Justified Anger, which this was on Puke and Vomit. This is a really good 7-inch too. And you have Oi Toy by the Debauchkas. The Debauchkas were, you know, of course, all female. For a while they had a male drummer, and then eventually they got a female drummer, and they became an all-female group. This 7-inch got Oi Toy on it. I believe that was the song that was their traditional opening song they did. There was some stuff that happened with the Debauchkas. I believe the singer Stephanie ended up leaving the group, and then there was supposed to be like the agreement that the group wasn't going to move on under the same name without her. And back in the day, I remember they did change their name to the 99s, and they kind of announced a couple shows under the 99s, and then it never really happened. Or maybe it did. If it did, it was only a couple shows. It didn't last for long. And now just recently, they released, I think it was a best of, or some kind of collection just recently, and there's a little controversy there. I think the singer might have released the stuff without the knowledge of the other band mates, and I don't know if the money's getting shared properly. I really don't know what's going on with that. But like I said, it was the Debauchkas. The singer left. There was an agreement that they weren't going to move on under the name Debauchkas, and so I heard people talking about this. But I remember back in the day when it happened, after Stephanie left, they did announce something under the name 99s. And I believe the name 99s was, they even put out a statement that the 99s were a reference to some kind of Air Force or some type of pilots or something, female pilots around World War II or something like that. So I was wondering what the term 99s meant myself. Somebody said it might have something to do with Agent 99 from Get Smart, because she was kind of a female. But no, that was what they said. It was like I said, it was a reference, a military reference to a female regiment. And like I said, just recently, the Devotchkas have released a best of, but you might want to look into that to see what's going on with that before you spend your money on it. But yeah, I just wanted to share some things. This is the first Oxymoron album. I just have it sitting here while I'm doing this video, and I figured I'd show it. This is their Fuck the 90s, Here Our Noise. I believe this was originally on Charged Records, but it was a blue. Where the camouflage was originally blue. And this is a special edition. A special edition out of Europe. Trying to find the label. But I remember the label was some kind of I think it was pretty obscure label. I didn't really recognize it. Somehow I got word of it coming out, and at the time I had a couple dollars in my account, so I grabbed the copy. But so this is special edition. But between Fuck the 90s and Here's Our Noise and the first one I showed you, the package back, both of them are classic 90s street punk albums. Like I said, I'm going to do a video focusing more on stuff out today and stuff in the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. But I just thought I just wanted to do something, get some kind of video out there and just share some stuff. That way, if there's anything you don't recognize or you never heard of, look into it, check it out. Try not to, I think it's all worth giving it a listen to. Anyway, I'll be back with you as soon as possible. Keep it sleazy. Take care.